Hi, this is a tutorial for my 3D flower square from my Improvers course. So I'm going to pick it up at round 3. Round 1 was just to do 16 double crochets here, and then round 2 was to do some popcorn. So we've got 8 in total, skipping a stitch between, which is important for round 3, and with a chain 3 between each popcorn. The space that the chain 3 creates, which is where you see my finger there, is what we're going to use to work into now for round 3, as well as these skipped stitches, which are in between on the yellow. So getting our new colour, join in any of the skipped stitches. So a skipped stitch is one of these here. Just attach your new colour, pull it through, and then start with a chain 2. And then we have to move, if you note that whilst I've attached that and crocheted on it, I have tucked away this chain 3 here. I don't want to crochet over that at this point. So that is completely independent to it. So I've tucked it away. However, your next instruction is to do 2 single crochets in a chain 3 space behind the chain 2. So there's my chain 2 and there's my chain 3 space. That's the chain there. So now, keeping your yarn above there, put your hook into the chain 3 space, yarn over, pull it through. So there's 1 single crochet and there's a second single crochet. So just pull that tail end to the back. So as you can see, I've now got a double, 2 chains which actually act as a double crochet, and then 2 singles on that back chain. Your next instruction now, which is repeating, is to skip the popcorn. So I'm going to skip that, and then I'm going to do the same here, where I'm going to do 2 single crochets in that chain space here, as you can see. 1, 2, and now you need to work into this skip stitch. Your instruction is to do a double crochet in the skip stitch of round 1. So making sure when you go into there that you're not putting it around there. You want to make sure that that chain pink, that pink chain 3, is to the back. Sorry, I keep going off the screen. That is to the back. So there you go. I'll do that again in a sec. So that's a double crochet, which makes that long stitch in between the popcorns. You finish this off with doing 2 more single crochets just around that chain. So in the chain space, 1, 2, and then we skip the popcorn and go to the next chain 3. So it's 1, 2 single crochets around that chain, and now this is where we're going to work into this skip stitch, making sure we don't catch this chain in our work. So yarn over. So what often happens is that you've caught, it's quite easy to catch this pink chain. So it's with your hand, just put it to the back like that. So before you do any more yarning over, it's not in the way. So that's a long, there we go. And then to finish that, 2 more single crochets. So each chain space, each one of these chain spaces should have 2 single crochets, a long double crochet into that skip stitch there, not catching this, and then finishing it with another 2 double crochets. And once you've gone round, you should end up all the way round with these long stitches here. These double crochets create what's like a spike stitch. So I'm going to pick it up again in a minute. I'm going to finish this around. I'm going to pick it up at round 4. Okay, so I finished off round 3, as you can see, with the red all the way around. I'm picking up round 4, and this is where we just build on this red before we create the petals. So start with a chain 1, and then we do a front post double crochet. Now, if you remember, a front post double crochet is we yarn over first, and we're going around this whole post there. We're not going into the top of a stitch. We go in around the back, pick up the yarn, pull it through, and we finish off our double crochet as we normally would. So yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Once we've done that, we single crochet in the next 2 stitches, which are basically the stitches that were the 2 single crochets from the last round. So 1, 2, chain 1 and single crochet in the next 2 stitches. So that chain 1 will become important in the next round because it's where we make our petals. And then we do another front post double crochet around that stitch there. Sorry if I keep going to the bottom of the screen. There we go. And then 2 more stitches in the top there. 1 single crochet, 2 single crochet, and then a chain 1. And you're not skipping or anything, you're just doing the chain 1, then you're carrying on with another 2 single crochets. 1, 2, and then we're back at this front post double crochet. So you do that all the way around. So it should go 2 single crochets, a front post double crochet, 2 single crochets, and then a chain all the way around. Okay, so I'll meet you back here for the next round. Okay, so we're now up to round 5, which is where we do the petals. This is fairly simple, a fairly simple round once you get going. So you do a chain 1, and then in that same space where you've just joined and done your chain 1 from, you do a single crochet. Skip the next 2 stitches, so we're going to skip that one and we're going to skip that one, and then we should hopefully come across our chain 1 space, which for me is there. In that chain 1 space we need to place 9 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and as you can see we're starting to build a petal shape there. Skip the next 2 stitches, and so I'm going to skip that one and that one, and then we do our single crochet in there just to, and by the time you've gone all the way round, you should then have 8 petals all the way around your flower. Should be fairly self-explanatory, making sure that you join when you get to the end. I will join you back in a moment for round 6. Okay, we're up to round 6 now, which is where we work on the back, and we need to create some chain spaces, so some chains which you catch at the back of each petal, so that we can then work from there and create the square that this turns into. So it goes from a flower to being a square. So join with another colour in. It says a back post single crochet, so we're going to use a back post at the back of any front post double crochet of round 4. So the front post double crochets are these here, these big long ones. So we want to just turn it over and just basically just pick up a loop. You don't want to go all the way to the front, otherwise your new colour is going to show through. So just pick up a loop and do a chain 4. So sorry, we want to do a single crochet in that space, don't we? So let's pull that through. There we go. And then chain 4, 2, 3, 4, and then we need a back post single crochet. So we basically, in between each petal is a front post double crochet, and we just want to pick up a loop around the back of those. Doesn't really matter where, as long as they are evenly spaced around the back of the flowers. So let's see if we can get a loop there. It can be quite tricky to pick one up. There we go. And then we'll just do a single crochet there. So as you can see, it starts a chain, and we do another chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then again at the back of these front post stitches we want to pick up another loop there. Like I say, it can be tricky to find one because you just want to work into the back of a stitch so it's not, doesn't show through to the front. So once you've gone all the way around, you'll end up with 8 of these spaces that you can work in. on round 7, so I will join you back there. So we're on to round 7 now. This is where we have to start squaring the back of the flower off so that we can create it into a square. So chain 1 and then single crochet into that same space. So that's basically where you did your slip stitch in the last round. So single crochet there, and then in this chain 4 space, which are these spaces you've made with the chain 4s here, work 2 half double crochets, 1, 2, and then 3 double crochets, 1, sorry, just put me on, 2, 3, then do a chain 1, skip the next stitch, so which means skip the stitch that's anchoring the chain to the flower, and then work in the next chain 4 space, and then we want to do the reverse of what we've just done. So we do 3 double crochets and 2 half doubles, 1, 2, and then this time instead of skipping that stitch we actually do, find your next one, we do a single crochet in there as well. Okay, so that kind of creates one side. So once we've done that and another 3 times around, we will then have sort of 4 lots of this little pattern here. So there, 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 and there. So I will meet you back round at round 9. That should have been, I'll meet you back round at round 8. Okay, so we're back now at round 8, which is where we're going to now make the corners. You'll notice I worked round 7 with the back facing me. It's up to you whether you do that round with the back facing you or whether you do it sort of with the front facing you and you're working that way. I did it with it facing me this time, but I, happy to do it either. It doesn't really matter. You can't really see it. And it will just give a different look to your flower, but so don't worry too much what you choose to do, because as you see, you can't see it. However, for this next round, for round 8, so that your work is now the right way round, I would now, even if you have done the other way, it's fine, you can now switch it round and work with the front facing you. So this is where we create these, we do these treble clusters. So I'm going to chain 1 and single crochet in that same space. We've had a lot of that today. Then single crochet in the next 2. Don't forget that if you have worked around it the other way around, your single crochets are your stitches, are a little bit to the back there if you've worked a different way around. Skip the next 3 stitches, 1, 2, 3, and then this is where this chain 1 space here comes in. So in this chain 1 space, we want a cluster of trebles. So for a treble cluster, you yarn over twice, you hook in, bear with me, yarn over, pull through the first 2 and the second 2, and just leave those, apologies, just had to cut off there because the cat jumped up. So we're at this point, so in our clusters we don't quite finish those off. So for a cluster we want to join them together. So don't finish off the last pull through of those 2. Yarn over twice more into that same chain 1 space, yarn over, pull through, and then work through at 2 at a time. 1, 2, 3, and then that last pull through joins both of them together. So you see you've got these long stitches here joined at the top as a cluster. In between each one of these treble 2 clusters, you need to do a chain 2. So I do a chain 2, and then in exactly the same space, we're going to do the same thing again. 2 and 2, and then leave those 2, and then 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Chain 2, do it again. 1, 2, leave the 2 at the top, yarn over, 1, 2, 3, and then the last one, 4. So we've currently got 3 lots of those trebles. Can you see they've sort of joined together? and we want 1, 2, 3, 4, we want 5 in total, so chaining 2 between each. 1. Oh, I finished that one off by mistake, so just undo that. Pick that up, then yarn over twice, and then always pulling through with a cluster 2 at a time to get nice long stitches. Chain 2, I'm going to do it one more time. 1, 2, yarn over, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we should now have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lots. Okay, we don't need to chain 2 after that last cluster of trebles, so we're going to now skip 3 stitches and single crochet in the next 3. So 1, 2, 3 skipped, and then I'm going to single crochet. It's basically in between each corner. So 1, 2, 3, and then we do that again. So once you've done it there, we're going to do it in each corner with those three in between, and then you'll get these nice treble clusters sitting behind your flower, which starts to now square it off. So I shall meet you at the next round, which will be round 9. Okay, so we are now at round 9. We should have 4 of these corners with these treble clusters in, and we're going to work around them now. It's worth noting that a cluster acts as 1 stitch. So when it asks you to work around a cluster, you're working around the whole of the cluster, not the individual posts within it. So that would be the whole of the cluster there with 2 posts. So it says to get your other colour and join with a front post single crochet around the first, or the treble of any first cluster. So here is your first cluster of that repeat, so we're going all the way around it there. So it's around the post because it's a post single crochet, this one. So that's your chain, and then we'll just do a single crochet around it. There we go. Then you work in the chain spaces now. So in each of the chain spaces, which are here, what we've done in between, we do 2 single crochets in there. 1, 2, and then your next single crochet is a front post one around the post. 2 single crochets in there. 1, 2, and then again, like it's around the front like that. Okay, and another 2 in that chain space. Another one around there. So it becomes fairly self-explanatory once you realise where you're putting your front posts. And then around here, and then once you get to this point, you're then going to single crochet in the next 5 stitches, which is these that you've done in between. So it's those 5 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we put a single crochet, and then we do the same again on that side, working around those. And as you can see, it gives that lovely separation of the post and definition of the so we're going to go all the way around, and then I'll meet you back round for the very last round. Okay, here we go with the last round, round 10. This base round basically now is just to straighten off the edges. So when you get to these dips here, you do taller, longer stitches so that it tries to even everything off. So although it looks a bit bitty when you look at the pattern, that's the reason why, to try and square it off. So we do a chain 1, single crochet in the same stitch, and then this is where our repeat starts. So we're going to do single crochet in the next 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, a half double crochet in the next stitch, and then we got a double crochet. This is where we do the corner now. A chain 1 and a double crochet all in one stitch, and what that does, that creates our corner. So we go in there, and then we're going to start along this way. So that's the double crochet, chain 1, double crochet as your corners, and then half double in the next stitch, single in the next 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then this is where I'm getting to the dip now, so this is where we have to start doing some taller stitches. So we have a half double and then a double in the next 3, 1, 2, 3, half double in the next one, and then a single crochet, and then we get to the end of the repeat. So we've started here and ended there, and then we go around. As you can see, it straightens that edge off, so you just continue around. You can see where that corner is coming with that double and then a chain 1 and then a double in the corner. So by the time you've gone all the way around with that same repeat and joined to here, your flower square will be complete. And there you have your final flower square, all nice and squared off with our corners all complete. And there you go.